Nishant Nagar, aka Khwaab, and Raghav Meattle. Welcome to Radio City Freedom Exchange. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. How are you guys doing?
Good,
I'm
good.
good. Thank you for having us. Nishant will probably do lesser of the talking because I'm the loud one over here. but thank you for having us and featuring independent music as usual. And Radio City is such a great platform for independent artists.
Thank you. So I was listening to your latest collaboration, Parchayi, and I haven't stopped raving about it. I'm sure you guys have even noticed. Just last night, I put it out on my Instagram story, and every single person, every second friend I know who listens to indie music, I haven't stopped praising about this song since the first listening. So first of all, congratulations, you guys have created something truly magical.
Thank
I just
you.
want to ask, what was that first germ, or from what beautiful place did this originate from? How did you guys think of creating something like this?
So basically, I had moved to Bombay in around like 2007, early 2017, late 2016 or somewhere like that. And that was a time where I was really questioning myself about have I made the right decision? Like I'm here, am I doing the right thing? So, and I had just started producing music, composing music. So this was something that truly came like out from my heart, and I tried to implement in the best possible manner. Then over the years, things happened. I kept working on my music, and I got to meet Raghav through a mutual friend. We played a lot of shows together. And we spent a lot of time together in Bombay. And then when I had started putting out my music, so I thought of like collaborating with him, and it turned out to be quite well. Yeah, very happy with how it turned out.
Raghav?
No, so I think composition wise, I think it's all Nishant. I have just come and just sang on it. I think for me, I'd always wanted to do Hindi music, but I don't know. I just can't write in Hindi. It's a really tough task because the way I express myself in Hindi, the way I write my songs in English, it comes naturally to me, and this is something that I've been trying to do. And I've been singing on ads in Hindi. I've done a bunch of like commercial work in Hindi, but this was a great stepping stone to starting to putting my own music out.
What's interesting, Raghav, this is actually a song where you sing in Hindi, which, like you just said, is not typically your comfort zone. So, how did you propel yourself? How did you, push yourself to actually want to give it to your best shot?
It was basically a lot of retakes. I think I spent. So this was in the peak of lockdown. I had gone back to my parents' house, so I had no mic, nothing. Nishant arranged the laptop and the mic for me to record, and I was sitting in my parents' house with like no fan, no AC because I had to record. I spent all night drenched recording this song for him. And then I did some 18, 19 different dubs for him. And then finally Nishant was happy with the way I was pronouncing the words. And it was a lot of effort, but full marks to Nishant for being so patient. Uh, I also didn't want it to sound inorganic, right? I didn't want to do Hindi just for the sake of it. I wanted to make it sound like it's a Hindi singer who's been doing it for years. So I think it was a lot of like before the song came to me. Finally, I did a lot of like dubs before it came. I sent him voice notes to understand if I'm pronouncing the words right. And then I think
Right.
ultimately it doesn't sound like somebody who sings in English a lot and
No, no,
is
no.
just trying his luck with Hindi. Yeah.
Sounds like good Hindi, yeah.
So, does this encourage you to do more of Hindi singles?
100%, yeah. I think this is the route, right? I'll start collaborating with more people, start singing in Hindi more, and then hopefully at some point I'll be able to write my own stuff also. But until then, why not, right? Like it just puts me into a new space, broadens my horizons. I want to keep doing it, yeah. I've already
It
done
was
one more, yeah. I've already done one more, so
it was like from
Right.
3 a.m. to 4 a.m. we were like परछाई अभी थोड़ा परछाई छोटा है परछाई can be longer. So 1 hour of just that.
It's interesting to observe that great bonhomie, between musicians, which is such a rare sight. I am sure you guys know that better. It's very rare to experience, this kind of, compatibility and this kind of, a working relationship. Does this also come from the fact that you guys have known each other from, for way too long? Like you said, like you mentioned, Nishan, you guys have known each other
Yeah,
through a close friend,
yeah.
and you've even space for Raghav's opening acts, a lot of his live acts.
Live
So,
act, yes.
what
Mhm.
that established working relationship, that comfort level, that trust that you guys share, was that equally uh, beneficial in a way for this track to happen?
Definitely. I think definitely because I think the amount of time we've spent together, we've known each other so well. Like I know, basically, I know for sure that if I ask Raghav to do something, he will do it when he's ready to give his best and when he knows that he will deliver his best because that's how he is. Uh, so probably those things happen and that's why it took some time to like properly put this out there, but I always had this in mind of like collaborating with him. And definitely the if I had known him so well, I wouldn't have asked him for so many retakes and wouldn't have been able to arrange a mic for him.
Yeah.
wouldn't
No,
have
I
wouldn't
think
have
same for
asked
me.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same for me, I wouldn't have felt so comfortable, right? I knew that I was a noob going into it. I didn't have much sort of background in Hindi singing to be able to be like, hey man, I don't know anything, but come, let's do it together and let's try it. And it was always, I always told him that, dude, if you think my voice doesn't work, you can always replace it. My ego won't be hurt, right? Because we know each other so well. Like, I mean, his cupboard is in my house in Bombay right now, so I'll sell that off for pretending. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, that's the idea where we just wanted to make sure that uh, we were both really comfortable doing this, and that's the most important when it comes to collaborations, right? And
Exactly.
yeah, and I sort of tolerate Nishant. I'm a really nice guy that way, so I end up tolerating Nishant's bullshit, and that's how we make it work. Yeah.
My God, Nishant, are you very heavy on your singers?
No, no, not at all. I think for this one, because I could be heavy on Raghav, I was.
You had some successful collaborations in 2020,
Yeah,
including
yeah.
Char Raste Basoor.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was great. Matlab, it was absolutely wonderful. I hadn't imagined that all of these songs would turn out the way they did because the kind of person I am, I was very hesitant about like contacting these people, all of these people. I spoke to Raghav also a lot about this. Yeah. So I somehow found people to get in touch with them. And how it turned out, it was like everyone was just ready to collaborate, work on some music. I think even the songs were good, maybe. Yeah. So everyone was like willing to collaborate on those. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. Even with Siddharth Basroor, even with Nikhil D'Souza, and these all of these people are so professional. Like they stuck to their commitments. Like if they'll send it by that date, they'll send it by then. Good takes, properly done. It was a great experience for me. It's been a great experience for me until now.
Nishant, Raghav, I believe this track was conceived and completely executed during the lockdown. This lockdown has particularly been a very very productive period in disguise for a lot of musicians, and I know I can speak for all of you for sure.
Yeah.
Considering the number of releases that I have been inundated with over the months, that
Yeah.
sure the Cleopatra was for indie music at large. What do you guys have to say about that?
For me, definitely it was because that's the time when I started putting out my own stuff. I was working on all of these songs for a very long time, but this just I don't know felt like the right time, if that's the right thing to say, to put everything out. But yeah, for me, I got to work on a lot of my own music because otherwise I'm playing a lot of gigs. I play gigs with Raghav and I do sessions for other people as well. And especially during that period that starts from November to March, April, where a lot of gigs are happening all the time. I used to be busy. I used to be very busy traveling. But this time it just happened that I got so much time and I sat and made it a point that I'll put my stuff out finally.
I think for me, the
Raghav?
lockdown has been really productive because I have a day job also. It just leaves me with no time generally. So, I mean, just the fact that I don't need to think about ironing my clothes or what I'm going to wear tomorrow and actually traveling to my office, it saves me literally 2.5 hours in a day, right? So, I think the lockdown that way, like the community happened for me. I released City Life during this lockdown and a bunch of other tracks. Even with Nishant, it's otherwise it's so hard to do Of course, we could have just gone into a studio because I know Nishant so well, but otherwise it's always very, very hard. So this was like, the lockdown has been really productive for me. Now I'm trying to get some kind of work-life balance going, because it's ultimately like just like living and working out of the same space. So it's like I'm tired, but I just went with it. Like I just worked so much. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun. I had a really good time, and I feel like it also gave us that time to sort of ideate, figure out what the track is going to be like, how am I going to sound. I think all of that really helped for me because I was in this lockdown.
Nishant, I was reading
Yeah.
an interview of yours. You said that you believe in making music, which is very personal, which comes, from a place where there's a lot to be pondered upon, a lot to be thought about. In fact, Sky is about loss and longing, and it also comes from a very, very personal place where you sort of remember your mother through this song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so, do you feel that the more personal musicians are in the kind of music that they put out, uh, that is a great way to reach out to the audience?
Personally, I think first of all, music being so it's such a personal thing. Everyone has different choices. So, but for me, it's always been like from the beginning, even the sort of music that I've grown up listening to. For me, music or any art form, it just needs to have a certain amount of depth so that it can make you think, or it can at least make you think of how you can like relate to it and how it can move you. So for me, it's just always been like this, that if I'm composing or writing a song, uh, I would rather have something that comes like from the bottom of my heart, and not just add quirk to songs just for the sake of it. Yeah, but for me, it's very important.
Raghav, you're one of the few indie artists who really kept, yourself busy on Instagram because you had live streamings happening. You've had the internet and splits with your memes. This new look that you've adopted. I don't know. I mean, before the interview started, Nishant was asking, "Where is the cone? Why is the cone missing?" So, was it look like also a conscious effort just to like maybe keep people happy? Was this like an effort on your part to add some respite, add some joy into our lives amidst this really troublesome period?
I mean, this is a look inspired by Britney Spears, but other than that, it's no. I think for me, I think I'd always wanted to do a lot more. It was always about time, right? And I feel like the lockdown gave me some time to think about these things and do it regularly. I don't think the community, which is like an artist open mic, and it sort of gives people resources to sort of make better music or connect with different producers and songwriters and stuff like that, wouldn't have happened because it needed that consistent push, right? I can't do an Instagram live once in 10 days and expect it to be a thing, right? So I did it consistently for 4 months, and that's why it sort of became a thing. And now I don't do it that often because it's already built, right? Now we're doing different kinds of workshops and showcases and stuff like that. But for me, also, it's the same thing what Nishant said about it being sort of a release for me. So honestly, I just do it because I have a lot of fun, and that translates into whatever I'm doing. Because if it's something exciting, memes are also like that's the kind of person I am. I'm an awkward, like sort of that's the kind of humor that I really like, and it's just an extension of my personality, which is the same with my music, right? I feel like um, even my songwriting is about the different things that I've faced as a 28-year-old musician in Bombay, right?
Right.
And that's what I want to keep doing because ultimately I'll stop doing it as long as when it stops becoming fun, right?
Thank you so much for joining me again, once again this afternoon, and I wish both of you all the best and
Thank
some
you.
really more, all the more wonderful things from you guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so much.
supporting the
Thank
music
you.
so much. Like
Thank you.
honestly, it means a lot, and like just having people upfront like telling us that they want to do this, it's beautiful, and keep recommending it to your friends. And thank you, really heartfelt.